Yeah, I appreciate you being on the show, Clayton. And you have
No,
an impressive.
thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And you have quite an impressive CV as well. I've got it here, the list here. So you're is this the right description? A registered Shopify expert. Would that be a
Yeah,
good?
that's correct. Yeah, there's not very many of them in the world. I think
No.
there's about 500, and I think maybe 30 in Australia. So there's lots of Shopify partners. There's tens of thousands of them, but not many Shopify experts. No.
Yeah, they're a rare breed.
Yeah, 100%.
So this is taken from the website. So if it's not right, it's not correct, and it's not down to me. So
yeah, no, all good.
So generated over $1 million online in revenue.
Yeah, for myself. Yeah.
For yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my clients have made a lot as well. Yeah. But yeah, keep going. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, it's fine. It's fine. 1,000+ pages ranked #1 on Google.
Yeah.
200+ websites redesigned. Worked on multiple 6- and 7-figure Shopify websites. Owner and founder of Inspire Small Business, which is your website, and as a registered Shopify expert and a Shopify partner, registered Shopify partner as well, which is awesome. And I found it interesting. I did listen to watch some of your videos, and it was interesting how you got to this point, like your journey, as it were. So can you give like an overview of how you got into be now a registered Shopify expert?
Well, I like to think of it all come down to me buying a can of Coke at high school. One day I bought a can of Coke at high school, and the machine was broken and 7 cans fell out, and I sold those 7 cans in like 5 minutes, and that's what started me wanting to own my own business. So I ended up selling drink cans at school, made tens of thousands of dollars doing that over about 4 years. And then went and did some jobs. I started a business selling trading cards here in Australia. Not many people know this, but I've sold about $1 million worth of trading cards.
Wow.
And then I think I got a lot of quotes for people to build websites for me in the old business. And I sort of looked at it like, should I spend like 4,000 or 5,000 on a website, or should I learn how to do it myself and buy stock? And I ended up learning how to do it myself, which it took forever. It took ages to learn it myself. I probably would have made quite a lot of more money if I hired someone to rebuild my website. I was thinking about it the other day. I probably would have made $200,000 or $300,000 more if I hired someone else instead of doing it myself. But then I wouldn't be in the position I am now. So yeah, basically, I think I was at a crossroads in my life and I didn't know what to do. I was burnt out from selling trading cards, and I had like a really good job. And then I thought about what I like about my business, and I really liked building the website. So I thought maybe I can start a business building websites, and that's how I got to here, sort of thing. So definitely, it was a rocky ride to be right here now.
Yeah. Did you start off with any particular platform, or have you always worked on Shopify?
Yeah, pretty much only Shopify. So I think 2009, I tried to build a website on some thing called Site Builder or something like that. And then I think later on, I heard Shopify was good in 2014, and I've just always used Shopify. So I haven't actually used any other platform before. Pretty much. Yeah.
And I mean, how do you rate Shopify in relation to like WooCommerce, for example, in terms of e-commerce? It's just a better platform in your opinion?
I definitely think I'm very biased to Shopify. Probably because Shopify has been really good to me. They've helped me a lot, stuff like that. But the way I always look at it is that nearly everywhere there's a cheaper option than Shopify. But the problem is, like, if you run into issues or you need certain things, most platforms don't have a solution for e-commerce for everything, and Shopify seems to have a solution for nearly any issue you can run into. So just for example, I'm pretty sure from memory, like if you build a website on GoDaddy, you can't add like Afterpay or ClearPay. Like that's just one little tiny thing. So pretty much anything you can do in e-commerce, like you can do on Shopify. So
yeah.
Most people, they normally start out on like the other platform, or not most people, but some people start on the other platforms, and then maybe 6 months, a year in, they realize that they have to go over to Shopify. So I built a lot of websites where people have been on another platform and come over to Shopify.
Yeah. And you described building Shopify sites as adult Lego.
Yeah.
Is that what you like about it? Is that you can put things together and.
Yeah, I think I always liked Lego as a kid, and my mum always thought I was like really creative, like building just the most random different stuff. And when I really sat down and thought about it, I was like, it sort of makes me feel like a kid a little bit, because it's like you are putting like certain blocks here and there and stuff, and it is a bit like making your own thing, sort of, if that makes sense. Like you might get inspiration from other websites or other things that people built with Lego, right? And then you sort of put it all together yourself. So that's why I thought it felt like that, yeah.
Because you said on one of the videos that you're self-taught, and you went onto YouTube and just taught yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's a lot of things I'm self-taught in, like even chess. When I think I was like 5 or 6, I just randomly found like a book in the garage, and I knew my uncle played chess, so I taught myself how to play chess, and I ended up being like the best chess player in my whole school, like throughout high school and stuff like that, just from teaching myself. So there's been a lot of things in my life where I feel like when you're really passionate about something, it's easier to teach yourself.
Yeah, so. Definitely. Because also you have a YouTube channel where you like pay it back, and you have a lot of tutorials on there on how to build a Shopify site and redesign it.
Yeah, I was posting a lot of videos about a year or two ago, and I think this year there's been like a real push that I want to give back again and like start making those videos. So I've hired like someone to do social media and just help me a little bit. So I just have to film the video myself, and then they do the rest of the stuff. Because I really believe in giving back. Like some of the best things that have happened in my business is because I gave a lot of value and expected nothing in return. So a lot of things I do, I believe in that. Like no matter who comes to you, you give value and don't expect anything in return, and it always comes back.
Yeah, because you also do like free video reviews of Shopify sites.
Yeah, so if someone messages me, I'll like do a video review, just going through, give them some tips, suggestions, stuff like that for 10, 20 minutes. Pretty much like in that video, nearly everything you need to know is like in that video to get off the ground and make more sales. And then you can either take that and do it yourself or hire us to do it for you, sort of thing. And even if like you approach us to work with us and we're not the right fit, we'll find someone who is the right fit for you as well. So it's not always like just try to do the right thing by everyone, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So how'd you fit that in? Because I'd imagine you're pretty full on doing the work, the paid work. So doing the reviews as well, even though that would, I suppose, lead to more work. Do you have like a process during the day where you say, I'm going to spend a bit this time doing the reviews, this time working on current projects, etc.?
Yeah, normally when I start, I'll like go through all the leads and stuff. Because I don't think this would have been on my website, but Shopify experts send me about 100 to 500 leads a week for free.
Wow.
So I'll wake up and there'll be like 50 requests like in my dashboard sort of thing for people who want help. So I'll just go through, see who's good fit, stuff like that, go through that and do the work. And then maybe later in the day I'll do that. I'm actually trying really hard to stop actually doing the work. And like I've hired a few people and more just like advising like which way we should go, and they're building the sites out. So I can focus more on growing the business and doing the things that I'm good at. So that's even been a real learning curve. Like I've had staff for a few years now, but I haven't fully 100% like let go of everything. And I'm nearly at the stage to let go of all the work and just do all like the sales and then like the bigger picture things for the business and stuff. Because I've definitely started to really think like I need to start thinking like not about next week and more about like next year and the year after that. So I'm thinking like long term instead of short term now. So that's why I'm trying to focus more on the business and not do as much of the actual work.
Sure. I'm going back to your journey. Did you find that, like a lot of marketers, that there was the pandemic and the lockdowns created a lot of interest and demand for websites and Shopify in particular, when people suddenly realized they didn't have a presence online and they needed to move over online and get started in e-commerce?
It was a very weird experience when COVID hit. So I was building 2 websites just before COVID sort of hit, and one person lost everything, their house, everything, went bankrupt, and the other person became a millionaire. So, and then like when it fully hit COVID, like the amount of people that were like building websites is just mental. Like Shopify experts will send me 2,000 to 4,000 leads a week, I think, for people to build, like needing help building a website. And I'm pretty sure there was a weekend where it was like Friday to Monday where Shopify merchants made more money than the best Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale on some random like 4 days, just because of like all the lockdowns and stuff like that. So it was very crazy when COVID hit. It sort of exploded my whole business as well when COVID hit.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of people who maybe created a Shopify store but maybe didn't get the right advice and help, a lot of those guys have kind of given up? There's some of those people around.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of people. I think even if there wasn't COVID, there'd be people like that for sure. Because it takes a lot to run a business, I think. Like there's a lot of ups and downs usually. So yeah, and then some people don't pick the right niche and or the right direction and stuff. So I think, yeah, there's definitely people like that, but it would have been like that even if there wasn't COVID for sure.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, do you, for example, with Shopify, when you do your Shopify reviews, are there any issues that come up again and again when you're looking at Shopify websites that
yeah,
almost one for one?
Yeah, there's normally 5 issues. Nearly everyone will have these issues. Like probably they'll have 3 to 5 of these issues. Most people I run into will have like 5 of them. The first one is like they don't understand how to build their homepage of their website. So they don't really understand how to flow it, what needs to be there, who's going there and stuff like that. Just changing your homepage on your website, especially if you built a following like on social media, it can make a massive difference in how much money you make on your website if you've built that page out right. So most people get that wrong. The next one would be product page. You just want to have like all the information there. You want to build trust. You want to have benefits, things like that. It really depends on the niche, how you build out both of those pages, but those definitely important. The third one, site navigation. People don't understand how to build out their main menu, their footer, things like that. It's really important, especially if you have a lot of products. If you have a lot of products, it's like super important to really build the main menu and the footer out correctly. Then the fourth one's the checkout. So this one really shocks me how many people make this mistake, but they don't have their logo or the same colors in their checkout. So basically, when you're going through the website, you get to the checkout and the page is like completely different to the rest of your website. So let's just say your website's got pink all over it, and then you get to the checkout and the buttons are like blue. There's no logo there. People are about to give you their address and their maybe their credit card details. So it's really important that that page is consistent with the rest of your website. So a lot of people don't do that. Or what they'll do is they'll have like they might start out with like a logo and all the colors, and then like a year or two later they change their colors and their branding and stuff, but they don't actually remember to go to the checkout and do that. So that's definitely important. And then the fifth one is like just optimizing the site for mobile. Most people are getting like 60 to 90% of their traffic mobile. So it's more important that the site works well on a mobile than a desktop these days. When I started on Shopify, definitely my website was getting like 50-50 split. Sometimes it'd get more on desktop, like 60, 70%. And I think it's flipped around now. It's just like too much mobile, especially if you build a brand on like Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that.
Yeah. I've heard that like with mobile, sometimes people go on the mobile, don't necessarily buy on mobile, but they browse on mobile, and then maybe go back and purchase on desktop. Is that something you have any thoughts on?
I think it's more like it depends on the price of the product. So what I've been seeing is like if people have products that are like over $1,000 or probably $500, like over 500, their desktop views will be a lot higher than most other websites. Definitely when they get to when you get to $1,000, the desktop is still pretty high, but probably under $500, I reckon. People do go over, but not as much as you'd think. I think it's about the limit where people are comfortable to pay, or most people. So
the big purchases are done on desktop still, the big ones, but a smaller purchase is still going to happen on a mobile.
Yeah, like if it's $20, it's not really a big risk, right?
Sure.
You don't really have to look into the company, most likely, I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, it really depends.
Yeah, because talking of that, I know you talk about trust on the website, like reviews, things like that. Do you recommend also things like what we call in the UK, like your VAT registration number, tax, company, your tax number, for example, or whatever the equivalent would be in Australia?
It'd be like ABN in Australia.
Yeah.
Some people might put it in the footer, like near the copyright thing, but not really. You can have a page where it has that information as well. It really depends. Like, I think lately I've been putting a lot of like ABNs in the footers and stuff like that, but I don't think it's a massive thing, really. I've never noticed it to make a big difference. Because if you think about where like you would locate like something like that, it's always in spots that people rarely would make it to. So like rarely people would go to the footer, or rarely people would go to certain pages where that would be. So it'd only be like a very low percent of people that would even be in the right spot to see it, I think.
Got it. How about phone numbers? Should you have a phone number on there? Or a help type of phone number, or does it not make much difference?
I think normally when people get a lot of phone calls, it's because their website isn't really communicating everything properly. So what I've noticed is a lot of people, when they come to me and they get a lot of phone calls, like just for example, someone come to me with like something for boats, right? And they used to get a lot of phone calls, but then we added a lot of like frequently asked questions, more information to product page, things like that, and the phone calls went down quite a lot. So I think if you're getting like a very large number of phone calls, there's probably something on your website where you could fix it and you'd get less. But then again, like some people just don't read on a website or anything. So they're still going to call you anyway. But I reckon maybe it depends on the product and the price and all different things like that. Like if it was $1,000 product, yeah, I'd probably have the phone number there. Because, you know, if a quick call could get you that $1,000 sale, $2,000, you know, whatever it is, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. And do you have any apps, Shopify apps that you recommend?
Yeah, so there's a few. So I like I definitely like review apps. So I normally use Luke's Reviews. That's pretty good. I like to use this app called Lucky Orange. I don't really use it as much anymore, but basically what this does, if you want an idea of like what people do on your website, if you download this app called Lucky Orange, it records what everyone does. So you can watch a few videos and you actually see like what people are seeing on their desktop or their phone and how it's displayed and stuff like that. That would like give you a really good understanding, because if you think about it, if you build a website, especially if you build a website yourself, you're only looking at it on your computer and your phone. So if you see a lot of these recordings, you're like, oh, it looks really weird on certain screens and stuff like that. I probably watched like 100 or 200 hours of recordings and stuff a few years ago. That really helped me and opened my mind a lot to thinking about like different types of phones, different types of screens, stuff like that. So yeah, I really like that. But yeah, there's heaps of apps on the app store that's really good.
Yeah. And do you, in your services, do you cover like shopping ads, Google shopping ads, how to get those set up and get that?
Sometimes we will do that. But most of the time the client will do that one, or we'll like give them a direction or make a how-to video or something like that. So some things are just easier if they do it themselves. Like what would have to charge them extra and stuff, where they could just do it in a couple of minutes, sort of thing. So it really depends, and then it depends on what we've agreed on and stuff like that. But there's definitely some things it's like a team effort when we build a website. So it's like, hey, we're responsible for all this. You're responsible for that. And then if you need help with that, we can make training videos and stuff.
Yeah. Because Shopify is pretty simple, actually, isn't it, to set up shopping ads anyway?
Just that sort of stuff.
The Google shopping channel app or the Facebook.
Yeah, pretty much.
Facebook app.
Yeah. So that's why we normally leave it up to them. It's more of a headache for us to do it, because by the time they have to send us all the stuff, and then it will take like 4 times as long.
All the passwords, etc. Have you come across any issues with, now that Google have sunsetted Universal Analytics? We've come across any issues with Shopify reporting in the new Google Analytics 4? Is that something you've
not yet
come across?
But it's something we're monitoring. So it's probably too new to really give a really good answer to that. Maybe ask me in like 3 months.
I'll come back to you on that one.
But yeah, it's pretty new. So but it's definitely something we're thinking about and stuff like that. We have a lot of clients asking us about that and that as well. So
sure. And how about artificial intelligence? Because there's a lot of people doing product descriptions using ChatGPT, for example. Is that something you have any thoughts on using AI to write product descriptions and website pages on Shopify?
Well, I think it depends on how you use it. A lot of people probably don't use it the right way. So, for example, like if I wanted to write a product description, I'd probably ask it to ask me like 20 questions about my business and about my products and stuff like that. Then also give it lots of information about my business and stuff. Then ask it to write me that product description. But I think a lot of people are just like, hey, I've got this product, I want a product description. So yeah, I'm cool with it. I actually think it's a good thing, because product descriptions, especially, is like something that a lot of people don't really focus on. So it's actually made it quite a lot easier for them to have a really good product description. But you'd be very surprised, especially when people have very large inventories of products, how many people don't put any effort into the product description. So I think it makes it's a lot better for most people. I've tried to write code and stuff with it. Basic stuff is like, it's okay, but like really advanced stuff is like struggles a little bit. But I think you have to evolve with the times. Like, if you don't get on the wave of this, like, you'll just be left behind in a year or two. So everyone's moving that way, so you got to go that way.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on email clients that work with Shopify? Because obviously Shopify has its own native email marketing system, but you have Klaviyo as well, and a lot of people recommend Klaviyo as being a really good partner with Shopify. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so Shopify's basic one is like their email system is okay. Like, if I think at a certain level, like until you reach a certain level, it's okay just to use that.
Yeah.
But once you hit, like, I couldn't tell you the right number, but let's say maybe $10,000 a month, that's when you probably should jump over and use Klaviyo, because it's like 1,000. Yeah. It's 1,000 times better, I think. But I think if you're just starting out, you don't really need to use it. Like, it just overcomplicates everything, sort of thing, especially if you're doing it yourself. But I really like Klaviyo. But I think a lot of things make sense at a certain level, you know, like one of my clients spends like $1,000 a month on apps. It doesn't make sense if you're making $1,000 a month to spend $1,000 on apps. Like, it really depends what level you're at on what you should do, I think.
Like, I suppose, for example, Shopify Plus, that's the that's as far as you can go, isn't it, in terms of paying of price and features.
So definitely, like, some of my clients, it makes sense for them to be on Shopify Plus.
Are there any, this might be a cheeky question, are there any apps which can give you some of the features of Shopify Plus without having to be in Shopify Plus? If you can't, you're not that level yet, or do you have to
sort of. But to be honest, like, I've only worked on like maybe 5 Shopify Plus sites. It's actually not that common that people come through that have Shopify Plus. I think there's quite a large number of people that are on like the level just below Shopify Plus. Because to be Shopify Plus, you have to be like a lot of millions of dollars a year to make it be worth it, sort of thing. So most of the people we work with, they make probably like 50,000 to maybe 2 or 3 million a year. So but it's hard to say. There's a couple that bypass some things and stuff like that, but it's not 100% as good as what like Shopify Plus would be. It's really flexible, especially in the checkout.
Yes. The simpler the checkout, the better, I guess.
Yeah, but even just one thing, like Shopify is rolling out the one-page checkout, and they've done a lot of like testing on Shopify Plus with that, and they were saying the conversion rate goes up definitely when you change over to one-page checkout. So I think they're trying to take some of the features from there and like give it to everyone. I think Shopify is always just trying to make it better. That's what I like about Shopify.
So if I heard you right, so they're going to be rolling out one-page checkouts to everyone, not just for Shopify Plus.
Yeah, a lot of people already have it, so they would have got an email to change over to one-page checkout. Any new stores that are made now have one-page checkout. So if you create a store now, you have one-page checkout. But I think it's maybe they started rolling it out in the US, and then they're going to like all the other countries, like people that already have a Shopify store. But like I just created a new store the other day and it had one-page checkout. So I'm pretty sure all the new ones will have it now. So that'll definitely make a big difference.
And with just going back to email, I mean, I've seen Some clients make a lot of money just by sending emails, remarketing emails, abandoned cart emails, etc. And I think it's relatively easy to set up as well, isn't it? In Shopify.
Yeah, it is. I would say like, a lot of people don't realize like how much money they're leaving on the table by not doing stuff like that. Yeah,
yes.
I think a very large number of people are leaving a lot of money on the table because of stuff like that, like just not doing it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you really went and like did massive survey on everyone using Shopify, it'd be like crazy how much money is just like left on the table from not doing that.
Yeah,
I think it's one of the last things people will think about too. Or maybe they get like a lot of annoying emails, so they're like, "Oh, email's annoying," but it actually works. There's a lot of the clients that I work with that do a lot of email. They make a lot of money from the email, especially if they've got a good like subscriber list.
Yeah, absolutely. Building an email list, I guess you would definitely recommend, and from the off, and social media following, branding.
Yeah, it all like it all comes together, like it all works together, sort of thing. So if you're building it there, then a list, and then you just like everything all together, sort of thing. It's always good when you do it like that, I think.
Yeah, like a multi-channel.
Instead of being good in one place, like, and that the thing I always think about is like, imagine if you just had a following on Instagram and then Instagram shut down. I don't think it ever would happen that way. But I think a lot of large people, you see it with really big influencers, they're trying to put their following to all the platforms, sort of thing. So I always think like that as well. Because even some of my own clients, if like Instagram shut down, they'd be like out of business. Because most people I work with, I really like working with people that have an Instagram following. I feel like I get the best results for those people. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is that because the brand is very strong? And it's
normally. And I like I like building websites that are like lifestyle images and people smiling and using the product and stuff like that. So I think like a lot of Instagram people that have built a following have got a lot of images and videos like that. So that's probably why I like working with those people the most.
Interesting. Okay. So now I'm going to move on to the next set of questions, which are more informal, just kind of more fun type questions. And the first question would be like, when you're not working, which is probably not very long in the day, what do you do to chill out? Do you read books or listen to music?
I bought a motorbike like about a year and a half ago, so I sort of ride my motorbike. I felt like that's one of the best things I've done, because you have to focus so much when you're riding a motorbike that it's hard to think about work, because you're like, oh, is this guy going to pull out on me or not? So it really switches my work brain off when I ride a motorbike. So that's definitely something I love doing. I might like listen to like motivational stuff on YouTube or music or Audible, podcasts, sort of stuff like that. Or go to the beach. Like that's something I like to do as well.
Because you're near the beach.
To read.
Yeah, you're near the beach.
Yeah, I'm about half an hour drive, 40 minutes drive from the beach. So yeah, stuff like that I really like to do. I started to read books again. Like the one thing I realized is like when I first started my business, I read 50 books in the first year. So I read nearly a book a week.
Wow.
And I'd only read one book in my whole life before I started this business. But I was really in like, I wanted to learn. I did a lot of online courses. I was just reading like crazy. Probably because I was scared to go get clients, but I really learned quite a lot in that first year, and I worked on myself quite a lot. And then sort of not long later, COVID hit, and I was like pretty busy for like 2 years straight. And somewhere along the line, I just had stopped working on myself, stopped reading books and stuff. And I think about a year ago, I realized like how important it is to keep improving yourself and keep learning, keep evolving and stuff. So I've started to try to read more books now as well. I think the really good thing about a book is like it teaches like really good discipline to actually sit there and just read it and not get distracted by your phone and stuff like that. So that's what I like about reading books.
Yeah.
But like I always say, if anyone ever went to school with me and they're listening to this, they would literally fall off their chair if they heard that I'd read 70 or 80 books. Like, yeah, only once ever in my whole life I read a whole book. And yeah, before 5 years ago. So yeah, definitely think it's helped a lot.
Because I guess you had a purpose to read, whereas before, I guess you were just reading for the sake of it.
Yeah, it was funny, but like the only reason I read that one book as an adult is because like something happened in my life and I couldn't understand it, and it really helped me. It was like about relationships. I read a book about relationships, and I couldn't understand what happened. I read this book, and it sort of changed my life. And then when I started this business, I was like, oh, if that one book had such an impact on my life, imagine if I read books about business. So that's what sort of started me down that road, sort of thing.
Yeah, is that all a bit cliched? But I suppose you learn from your problems. You need problems to grow.
Yeah.
If nothing bad ever happened, then you wouldn't learn anything either.
Yeah, some of the worst things in my life have made me the best. Have ended up being the best things that ever happened to me. Like literally, probably the 5 worst things in my life are the best things that ever happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Not in the moment, but later, they were like the best thing that ever happened to me.
Because I know you mentioned that when you did you go to Bali and you met someone who did website redesigns and that kind of steered you in the path you're going now, and that was like a chance meeting almost.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, about a year before I started this business, I went over there and I was like, I still had my Shopify website, and I was laying on the beach in Bali making sales on my store, and it was like I ran into this woman, and it was like the first person in years that understood what was happening to me. Like none of my family understood like anything about what I was doing or anything. And then she was like from Germany, and she was just like living in Bali, and I was like, how cool is this? Like you literally can work anywhere in the world doing something like this. So that sort of that was probably the first idea of like me wanting to do the website. And then probably about a year later, I did think about like what I liked about the business, and I liked building the website. I thought a lot about her when I left my job, because I was like, I really wanted to like be free, sort of thing.
Yeah. And I guess do you have big plans for the YouTube channel, like growing that, or maybe having like a membership, or like a website where people learn? Would it go that far?
Yeah, so definitely YouTube, yeah, for sure. Like, because I was going really good probably in 2011 on it, but it's just consistency thing, and it's really important for YouTube. So I definitely really believe it's really important for me to build that up for sure. I'm building a program, but it's not for like anyone to join. It's only for my own clients. So it has like lots of training videos and stuff. Because at the moment, I send people like a Google Docs, like after we build the website, and it might have like 10, 20 generic videos. And then it'll have like personalized videos if they ask me questions and things like that. So, after years, you keep making the same videos. So that's why I want to put it all into a program. And like I've had 500 clients now. So you can imagine like how many training videos and stuff I've made. So I'm just trying to put it all into that. Maybe have like a lot of the basic stuff on YouTube, so I can have links for that. And then more the advanced stuff can sort of go into the program. But I think that's really important. But at the end of the day, like I'd be happy to like give everything away for free on YouTube, because I really think there's like it doesn't really matter like if I do or not. There's always two types of people normally. One that is going to go learn everything themselves and not pay anyone, and someone who doesn't want to learn everything themselves and they're gonna pay someone. Like there's so much money in the world, like it doesn't really matter. Like it's like just keep giving value and just don't expect anything in return. It just doesn't really matter. It'll just come back.
Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. That definitely makes you stand out from a lot of people in your sector.
100%. Like I've been on calls where people are like, I can't, like, it's just obvious that we're not going to work together, and I'll just spend another half an hour just like giving them tips and stuff like that. It's just like, and then later on they might recommend me to someone, or they might make some money come back. It's just, I don't know, it makes me feel good. I really think if all my bills got paid for, I'd just do this for free. Like if I didn't have any bills, like it doesn't really matter. Like sort of thing. I really enjoy doing it.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. So for people watching or listening, the YouTube channel, is that under your own name, isn't it?
Yeah, Clayton Bates, Shopify expert. Yeah.
So people subscribe to that, and
100%.
And your website is
InspireSmallBusiness.com.
That's the one. So if people want more information, want a review, to go to that website for
or they can Google Inspire Small Business and I'll come up. Brilliant. They'll see lots of our 5-star reviews when they Google it, and then they can go to our website.
Fantastic. Well, I think that brings us to the close of the interview. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I just appreciate you having me on. Hopefully, like something, even if I can inspire one person, it was worth it. So, probably the thing that I definitely believe in is like you can do anything you put your mind to. What are you going to put your mind to? That's what I always think. So, hopefully, someone does get a lot of value. And thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. I can think of quite a few people off the top of my head who will get a lot of value from this interview, including me, of
awesome.
course. Thanks very much. All the best.
You too.